Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing a stage 2 on a Discovery 2, as far as I'm aware. Will's just out getting the power flash and everything ready so we can go do a road test. Obviously check to make sure that everything is working, full health check on it before we even entertain putting it on the dyno. As far as I'm aware, this vehicle is absolutely bone stock, so it'd be interesting to see what it does stock figure wise, and then we're going to fit one of our new, you asked for them, Discovery 2 ultimate intercoolers. So as many of you will be aware that most aftermarket intercoolers for the TD5 they're a folded end tank, so the end tanks each side of the core are folded aluminium and then they are seam welded around the edge. These are prone for failing. Most commonly they'll split either on the weld or they'll split where the end tank's actually welded to the core. The Alive Ultimates, whether it be the Defender variant or the Discovery variant, they are solid cast, which I will show you once I've got one out of the box. Obviously we knew that this was an issue with them. It's very, very common. It's been around for years and years. So the way round that, get rid of the welds altogether. So solid cast end tanks, not seam welded, don't fail. All of these do come with a lifetime guarantee as well. Not the cheapest intercooler on the market, but they are built to last. It should be the last intercooler you ever have to fit. Unless you're like me, you buy one, you fit it to the truck, you sell the truck, and then buy another truck a little bit later on. But here she is. So we are a facelift. It's actually really, really nice looking truck, this one. A little bit different to what I'm used to, obviously. Road tyres, nice wheels. Mine's built for a completely different job, although it does suffer with the same fate of the rear ladder, allowing water in. Again, really, really common, and that's down to these bits here, not allowing the seal to seal properly. But yeah, I mean, first impressions, definitely looks a very, very well looked after vehicle. What we got on it mileage wise? 60,000 miles. Oh, where I can get the camera to point at that. Yeah, so definitely a very good truck. Right, are we ready? What are we doing? Got this glamorous assistant with me today. You're getting like me though, you're about ready for a haircut again. Yeah, well, I drive to Nottingham because my brother lives in Nottingham and he's got a barber shop. So it costs me fuel. Just to explain, I drive to Nottingham to get my hair cut, or mine and my son's. And these boys all take the mick out of me, but my brother has a barber shop in Nottingham. So although it costs me fuel money, I get to see my brother and I get a free haircut. So, you know, swings and roundabouts. Right, let's pull this thing in. Jack has just bought me one of these intercoolers through. If you've seen our Ultimate, the Defender ones, they're identical, obviously slightly different widths to the rad packs, are slightly different widths between a Defender and a Discovery. But as I was saying, so typically these end tanks, both sides, are aluminium and they are folded over, and then you end up with a seam weld down both sides. As you can see with these are all solid cast, so they're all one piece. Both sides, so we're doing away with that known issue. Direct factory replacement as well, so pull your old one out, drop your new one straight in. But yeah, overall, really, really good product. Never ever do we ever have any issues with them. It's exactly the same manufacturing process as the Defender variant, which we are running on our 320 horsepower 90. So, you know, I think we're running a good chunk over 2 bar of boost through that. If it can handle that, it can handle anything that that you lot are going to put through them. So yeah, there's that there. Obviously, with this, if we're doing the intercooler, we may as well put a set of nice hoses on here. So again, Alive boost hoses, lifetime guarantee on these. And these ones, unlike most of the cheaper ones that you see, I mean, you can see the thickness of the hoses themselves, but unlike a lot of the cheaper ones that are on the market, these have a liner in them. So most people aren't aware that oil, which you do get in these pipes or these hoses, that is perfectly normal. Oil will actually eat away at the silicone. pipes will deteriorate, and worst case scenario, you can actually end up pulling some of this either into your turbo or into your engine. So these have a special liner in them which actually protects the hose from that. So lifetime guarantee with those, lifetime guarantee with this. Like I say, it's not about being the cheapest. We don't want that. We want to be fair and reasonable with the price, but we also want to supply the best products that we can do. And that means going to some of the best suppliers, designing our own products in some cases, and just making sure that what we're putting out there, we can stand by it and go, you know what you're getting is as good as you will get. So I've waffled on for long enough, and I was hoping that Will would have had this strapped down so I didn't have to get under there and get wet, but
Come on, it's your turn to do the rear.
I'm going to end up under the back of this and get dripped on, but fair's fair, I suppose. Right, so before we do any runs, we've got the power flash out, and what we're doing here, so we're looking at fault codes first off. So we've got a turbo overboost and EGR valve stuck open, road speed miss and a couple of others. But the reason we're checking this is to make sure there's nothing on there that's going to cause a problem mid-run or cause a problem when it comes to the tuning side of it. What we're also going to look at is the live data check to make sure MAF sensor's working and everything is reading correctly. But then on the other side of this, we can actually have a look at the intake temperatures. So we know this is running a stock intercooler currently. Temperature-wise today we are, 13 degrees, so it's not hot or anything else outside, but you can see here, so we've got ambient air pressure, fuel temperature, obviously manifold pressure, but what we're looking for, airflow is down here, and then we're looking for air temperature as well. So this is intake. We'll have a look at this on the run, see what we're getting midway through the run on a stock intercooler, and then also once we've fitted the Alive Ultimate, we'll actually compare the two. TD5s do not like heat, they do not like hot intake temperatures. It's no good for them, so as part of tuning, upgrading the intercooler, not only does it benefit us in a tuning point of view, actually far better for the engine because we're bringing those intake temperatures down. Certainly if you're overlanding or you've got you do a lot of towing, that sort of stuff, really good upgrade for these. But yeah, ready for a run?
Yeah.
Right, happy with all of that. I'll come back out here and put you somewhere where you're going to be able to see it. What it's got to do first, so we're going to sync the dyno. So what we're doing here is we are setting RPM, and we're telling the rollers on the dyno what that RPM is in terms of what the vehicle's doing. So we sync the two together, run the vehicle up to temperature, and then we'll do a run with it. Right, so horsepower wise, we're about where we expect these to be. They're usually between 130 and 135 horsepower from factory. Torque wise, we're a little bit down. Typically we expect to see about 300 newton meters of torque. By the by, it is what it is. What do we see intake temperature wise?
50 degrees.
50 degrees. So again, we've got a nice comparative there. Just saying, we're a little bit down on torque. So it'd be interesting to see where the gains are with that. But yeah, you want to do another one and then crack on with it? Yeah, so I'll come around and we'll film the intake temperatures just so people don't know that we're trying to blag them. Well, people do know that we don't think we're trying to blag them. Something along that, you understand. Oh, it's... Right. I should have probably switched that fan back on before I got in, shouldn't I? A little bit lower than this.
Somebody's been winding the actuator up.
Yeah. Well, that's why I was trying to include that in it, just so we could see what it was boosting to.
Was that 45?
Yeah, 45, 46, I think.
I think that's what that nasty dip is.
Yeah, so it did have a bit of a gadung, didn't it? Is it sort of... What's that, about 32, 3300 RPM it suddenly...
Yeah. Might just back that actuator off. Just to get an accurate comparison.
Right, so somebody, or we think at some point somebody's been fiddling with the actuator on the turbo. So typically with a Defender that isn't modulated, whereas the Discoveries, they are modulated, so they're controlled electronically. With the Defender, if you shorten or lengthen the actuator on the turbo, it will increase or decrease the amount of boost pressure. Obviously, if you do that on a Discovery, it can have the same effect, but then you're also trying to control it electronically with the modulator via the ECU. We've noticed on this run, or will notice, that actually we are doing more boost than we should be from a stock point of view. But we also have noticed, and I don't know how well you can see this, but on that graph, at about 3200 RPM, it's got a weird sudden dip in it, which wouldn't normally be there. So we're wondering whether, obviously we've got the overboost fault as well, so we're wondering whether, because that's been adjusted from factory, or from factory settings, that maybe that's what's causing that little dip, and that's potentially where the overboost code originally came from. It's just gone back again, adjusted it up again. We'll now run it and see what's going on. Another good thing about this power flash is we can clear the fault codes. Oh, actually record what I'm doing and not out the windscreen. So fault code's cleared, and we're ready to go again. go. So 136 horsepower and 275 newton meters of torque. So yeah, I mean, I think that's as good as it's going to get, isn't it?
Sort of the boosted issue.
You know, we hit the target that we was expecting boost-wise, so that's completely normal now. If you've got a D2, don't mess around with the actuator, because all you do is cause problems with it. Let me get out of here. So, but as you can see, so before we've carried out any tuning, any upgrades or anything else, we always make sure that we're giving the vehicle the best opportunity in making power and in reacting to the tuning in a positive way. Whether that's just a maintenance thing or making sure that everything's working right, or as we've just done, you know, messing around with it. Because, you know, I mean, what we could have done with that is we could have just run it as it is, give you the figures, and then actually tuned it and made these changes and actually made more power on top of what we would have done anyway. But we don't do that. You know, we're very, very open with what we do. And you can see from messing around with it there that actually we've actually improved it without actually tuning anything at this point. Obviously, we're still going to fit the intercooler, still going to fit the boost hoses. We're going to sort out the EGR issue. We'll tune it and we'll run it again. Stock intercooler, a live ultimate intercooler. I mean, you can see straight away we've added more depth to it, but one of the biggest improvements you can see here, we are way thicker in terms of the actual core itself. Like I said, stock intercooler, it's not a bad thing, but certainly for what people are using these for now, and then from a tuning point of view as well, it is always beneficial to get rid of this old thing, go over to something that is actually much more substantial, much more capable, and overall it's better for the engine, it's better for you know, the efficiency of the engine and everything. It is just the better way, and it is the way to go forwards. Obviously, if you're going just for a, you know, stage one, let's say, stock intercooler will do the job. Anything above and beyond that, or as I've said before, if you're doing a lot of heavy towing, loading it up with camping gear, overlanding, always go for an upgraded intercooler. Just a much better way of doing it. But yeah, it's quite interesting to see actually what they sent them out with. I mean, obviously this one's not a bad one anyway, because it's low mileage, but typically we tend to get these off over 100,000 miles, and they've started to weep and leak, and obviously you've got the plastic end tank on this side, and the aluminium on that one as well. But yeah, that's off now. We've got to take a couple of bolts out, the manifold area, and then what we can do is we can then get on with clearing that mess out of there, and then we will drop the new intercooler straight into it. But yeah, overall not a bad truck. Has been cut around a bit to get these headlights in. As we said earlier in the video, it was a bit weird because looking at the rear lights, they're an early pre-facelift rear light. But then obviously it got the 15p lights fitted to it, but it is a 10p, it is a pre-facelift. Somebody's just done an upgrade to that. And then in here, I mean, you can see that body mounts there. These are pretty good ones, these, but they have these foam inserts in them. These foam inserts sit in that gap in there, and you can see just from this one, you know, they are they hold lots and lots of moisture. And what they actually do is they rot them low mounts out, believe it or not. Entirely up to you guys, but if you're doing this job, certainly on mine, I removed them and left them out completely. I don't know why they're there. I assume it's something to do with noise or vibrations or something, but I can't say I've honestly noticed a difference since since taking them off mine. And ultimately, I'd rather have decent body mounts than a little bit of quietness. So, right, onwards. You'll have seen earlier, we had a code for a EGR stuck open. So I've stripped the EGR off of it, we've stripped it all down, cleaned it, put it all back together. It seems to operate as it should. So we'll refit that fresh gasket in there and all that sort of stuff. Will's putting his headlight on. Bit of the old high beam. Yeah, put it back on and see if it works or not. What we're waiting on now is Will to open the ECU up, because this is an MSB type ECU. Find it on the camera. There you go. It means we've got to take the cover off the top of it, take the chip out and solder a socket in.
I'm sure you don't want to go.
Yeah, well, I'm positive I don't want to go. This is very much your domain, this one. Right, so 200 horsepower and 436.6 newton meters of torque. Same as always if you follow these videos. So orange is your torque, so that's your newton meters. Red is your horsepower, and then blue is power at the wheels. I mean, as you can see, torque-wise, there's a huge split. Can I pinch that keyboard off you a minute, Will? So let's just have a quick look at this. Cursor. So what this will do is it will give us a direct comparison between two runs. If we go to this point here. So as it came in, 83.6 horsepower and 270.6 newton meters torque. This is around sort of 2200 RPM. So 83.6, 270, 134.8 and 436 newton meters torque. Pretty significant gains on that. Intake temperature wise, was your nosy in? Intake temperature?
Yeah, not a big difference. About 35 degrees, but it
Brings it straight back down. There we go. So far more efficient intercooler on there. And then if we go to, let's say, sort of 2500 RPM, you're same again. The gains are right through it. So tuned 152 and 429. Previous to the tune, 97 horsepower and 272 newton meters. That's at about 2,500 RPM. So really good gains on that. Trucks seem to respond really well, but again, it's a 60,000 mile TD5, so you wouldn't expect anything less than that. The EGR fault that we had on there with it sticking open, what we did is we stripped, cleaned and put it all back together as you saw. no issues with that now. So yeah, we'll get it unstrapped, we'll get the customer out for a road test and see what he thinks. Right, so in the interest of being completely fair, we're going to do a second run, so straight after the one we've just done, and I'm going to film and video the air temperature just so you guys can see how quickly, or what it gets to and how quickly it actually recovers from that compared to previously. And Will's left the keyboard out there. Nope, turn around. There we go.
Just press start recording again.
Start recording. There.
Just see how quick it drops.
Yeah, so what we're looking at is this one here. It's just more efficient, that's the thing. Literally just up in just touched 40.
Watch how quick it drops.
Buckled wheel. I'm trying to record it and I'm just but. Loads better. Yeah, they got, what did we peak at before? 46. 46, yeah. And yes, but just then at the very end of the run we just touched 40.
And we're in the afternoon now.
Yeah, I mean we're exterior temperature now, we're 18 degrees.
Yeah.
What was it this morning? 13?
14, yeah.
13, 14? So again, increase in outside temperature, which would obviously increase your intake temperatures. But again, we've just sort of proven that it does what we say it's going to do. Right, well that's it. Before, after, intercoolers are available now on the website for the D2s. They do sell fast, so we had the original prototype one that went onto Will's truck. If you go back to the Discovery 2 Silver, or mine and his episodes, you'll see that we fitted one onto his initially, and then we have had a batch that's gone out to dealers as a sort of a test batch. They've all gone, and this second batch in now, most of those are pre-ordered. So if you do want one, get on there now and get it bought. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.